Happy Sunday. I've been a little MIA. I went to Chicago for around 3 weeks and didn't have my camera, but I was able to stop into the Jones Road store in Chicago, which if you've never been there, the staff is super knowledgeable. They're all so nice. They have years of experience. I definitely recommend that location if you've never been to a Jones Road store before. It can get really busy, so usually they add your name to a wait list and then you can get the proper care you need if you're looking for help. I went in there to swatch the new Miracle Balm Palettes. I decided after swatching them, Cheeky was going to be the one I opted for. I felt like the color Cheeky is such a unique shade, and the Miracle Balms, they just don't have that specific color in their collection. I feel like this is the most versatile palette of the three. I originally swatched the first one. I think that one has Chic and Party in it. I felt like Party was way too sparkly. It kind of had gold shimmer and it was pink, and I felt like as a highlight just wasn't speaking to me. It was like too shimmery and slightly too dark for my skin. Ultimately, I think Happy Hour is a much better highlight for fairer skin, except they need to do it without all the glitter that's in it. Back when I worked for Jones Road, I know a lot of the roadies, which is the private Facebook group, they would actually melt their Miracle Balm in Happy Hour so that the shimmer would fall to the bottom. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that. I don't think Jones Road recommends doing that because it just alters the product ultimately. So if you were to have any reactions, then you're kind of like the one to blame for that. But some people absolutely love that. That was a little derailing. Either way, I walked away with Cheeky. We're gonna demonstrate it today. I have it on. Let's do a little walkthrough and see what we think of it. I know I'm late to the game. It took me a really long time to decide which palette I was gonna choose because each one has something unique about them. I think the new color Cheeky is gonna be a big one coming fall, winter. I could definitely see them releasing a full-size version. Also, I know a lot of people love Chic. I already have a mini of Chic. I also have another video using that color. I'll link it up here. Last summer, they released the Miracle Balm palettes for the first time ever. I have all three of them. I still use them religiously. You can see how messy they are, how much I've used these. I think the Miracle Balm palette, price-wise, may not be worth it versus getting a full-sized one, but I use these all the time for travel. I also love the mirror and the compact as well. Hauling around a huge Miracle Balm is just not ideal for travel. I also travel a lot, so that's why I actually prefer the Miracle Balm palette. We're gonna try it out together for the first time. It looks like they updated their packaging here. It's a little more fun than their old packaging. There's also a mirror as well. I haven't taken that off yet. These definitely look pretty pigmented and pretty deep in color, but if you know the Miracle Balms, you know how sheer they actually are. So there's Cocoa Bronze. This is the new shade, limited edition to this palette, Cheeky. And then they have Golden Hour as the highlight. Because it's summertime, I've gotten a little more sun. I think Golden Hour will be a pretty highlight, but usually I prefer Magic Hour or Happy Hour. I'll go ahead and start playing around with this one, Cocoa Bronze. I don't know why, but I love using the Everything brush with Cocoa Bronze specifically. The Miracle Balms also require breaking the seal. What that means is you have to press pretty hard on the surface to get that pigment going. This actually didn't take much to get some of the pigment coming through. You can see my finger has some, and I didn't even really have to press super hard on these. I'll start by putting a little on the top of my nose. I do have a little bit of the gel bronzer on. I mixed light and medium on my skin. That's where you can see some of that warmth. Cocoa Bronze is a cool tone. It's a beautiful bronzer for deeper skin tone, but you can also use it as a subtle contour, just using the tiniest little bit. I'm gonna keep it close to my ear. I'm gonna keep this really simple. Whatever's left over on my brush, I'll take up the forehead. You can also put it down your neck. Cocoa Bronze can create a very natural looking shadow because it's more cool toned. I'm really here to try Cheeky, so let's go ahead and try that one. Cheeky actually looks a little bit darker than Cocoa Bronze when they're right next to each other, but this definitely has more of a plummy tone to it. Here's what it's looking like on my finger. This would be really pretty on tan skin, but I think if you're fair, sometimes a berry looks really pretty too. I'm very lightly tapping it on the top of my cheek, working towards the hairline. That's really pretty. Okay, you can see it. I'll keep blending it out. I feel like this isn't even a cool tone. This is more of a neutral plummy shade. To me, it's not leaning too warm or too cool. I think I accidentally got some up here. It's very reminiscent of the Lip and Cheek and Royal Plum. I think those two would pair beautifully together if you wanted to vamp up this blush, but this is actually pretty pigmented. I don't think you need to add a blush to this. This is definitely one of the more pigmented Miracle Balms. I think it has a similar pigment as the shade Chic. Whatever is left over on your hands, you can pat on the forehead just to add more cohesion to the skin. Here's a closer look at the shade Cheeky. So my dark spots are peeking through. I've gotten a bit of sun, so that's not the product. This is more just what my skin is looking like. I'll finish the makeup look with Golden Hour. Golden Hour has more shimmer than the other Miracle Balms. I'm looking at Cheeky and it really doesn't have any shimmer to it. If there is shimmer, it's extremely finely milled. But next to it is Golden Hour, which we all know has a lot of shimmer to it. All of the Hour shades have more visible shimmer. I'll be applying Golden Hour just to the high points of the face rather than all over. This will look really pretty in certain lighting. We'll put some on the ridge of the nose, a little on the lips. After using this palette, I feel like my skin has a lot more dimension to it. It's come to life. I just had on a little concealer and bronzer before I used this palette. I'll link everything else I used in the description box below in case you're curious about the rest of the makeup. I think Cheeky is the perfect amount of pigment. It's not too deep for my skin. It feels like a bump up from Royal Plum being a little bit deeper. This one is like maybe right above Royal Plum. I think it's also making my blue eyes stand out a little bit more, which is one of the reasons that I love blush, because it just contrasts with blue really nicely. Of all the Miracle Balm palettes, I think Cheeky's the winner. If you're interested, you're not sure which one to go for, I think this one's the most versatile. Definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. It's completely free. There's a little red box at the bottom that says subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this quick video, and I'll see you in my next one.